Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Political Ray. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some stories for you this morning. Look, we've got Snow White in the UK has canceled its premiere. That's fun. And we got some breaking news on Hunter Biden saying that he's too broke to continue with any lawsuits. Weird. Gavin Newsom started his podcast and had Charlie Kirk on. That was interesting. And Al Green gets censured. Um, Doesn't really mean anything, but he did get censured with 10 Democrats voting in favor, and a lot of people are outraged over this. But anyway, we'll get into all of this and start off. We'll just kick off with the Snow White premiere getting canceled in the UK because this is fun for me. I like this. Anyway, the we'll bring this over real quick here. So Disney apparently has canceled its UK premiere of their Snow White movie. Now this has already been delayed by like a year, the release of the movie, because of Rachel Zegler and her crazy comments that she has made. She's come out and said that that Prince Charming is a stalker and the movie was outdated and blah 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 blah. And she was already, I mean, the movie was already facing backlash because of the fact that, it's in the title. A lot of people were not happy about the fact that the new Snow White was not white. Okay, for one, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't really give two craps about it. I wasn't going to watch it just because it's just another reiteration of something that they cannot, like Hollywood cannot come up with new stories. They just keep regurgitating stories, and they do these remakes, and it just seems like they don't try anymore. So I wasn't going to watch it just because, like I said, everything that's put out nowadays is regurgitated and nobody has any original ideas, and it's a little sad. So anyway, but MovieWeb, this is according to them, Disney reportedly scraps Snow White premiere, plans to avoid more anti-woke backlash. Like I said, this was for the premiere in the UK. Hi ho, there will be nowhere to go, at least for one major premiere of Snow White, because Disney has reportedly decided against rolling out the red carpet for its controversial adaptation fears. Fears of anti woke backlash have apparently promoted the studio to reduce its media schedule for the live action remake, which stars Rachel Zegler. Like I said before, she's come out, she's had all kinds of crazy statements since she started making this movie. In my opinion, I think they're just scared of her saying something else stupid. Everything she is whenever she's had a little, photo op or talked to the media or had an interview, she said something else that has distanced people from this movie. And honestly, I think, the whole white not being white as far as Snow White, it's in the name. But anyway, I digress. Like I said, I could give two craps less cuz I wasn't going to watch it anyway. But um they are scared to death of her saying something else stupid. And rightfully so, because every time she has come out and they've tried to have her come out and promote this movie, she has said something else stupid. Um, there was the whole, it's an outdated movie, and Snow White can make it without the Prince Charming, and blah 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 blah. Prince Charming's a stalker, yada yada yada. She came out and said that she hates Trump, and if you voted for Trump, then she hates you too. Now she has backtracked that because Disney probably forced her to do so because that alienates half of the nation, more than half at this point, because you got an overwhelming popular vote, and you can say it was just a small margin as far as the popular vote. It doesn't matter because it was the first time a Republican had taken the popular vote since 2004, I think it was. Anyway, um, it's just every time she opens her mouth, she says something stupid and alienates more and more of the audience who they're trying to get to come watch this movie. Now, Disney has put in, I think it was over $300 million into this movie. I think it was close to 400 million. Don't quote me on the exact numbers. I'm not sure exactly. I know it was over 300 million though. This is going to tank. Nobody wants to see this movie, and it's a big part of it is because of the fact of Rachel Zegler cannot keep her mouth shut and can't stop saying negative things about, you know, controversy that and negative comments towards her. She just can't keep her mouth shut. But anyway, let's see. Allows movie. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Industry insiders told the Daily Mail that there won't be a cinematic celebration of for Snow White in the UK ahead of its theatrical release on March 21st, as Disney has opted to keep it low key by only scheduling a few press events for the upcoming movie. According to the source, Disney are already anticipating an anti woke backlash against Snow White and have reduced the media schedule to just a handful of tightly controlled press events. That is why they have taken the highly unusual step not to host a London premiere for the film and are minimizing the amount of press questions that Rachel Ziegler gets. That's because they're scared to death of her saying something stupid. I'll say it again. They do not want her going out saying something else stupid and then alienating more and more people. Because as I said, every time she opens her mouth, she says something stupid, and that's just less people that are going to go watch this movie. Um, this is fun for me because I don't like her anyway. Her comments that she's made, everything else. Um, you reap what you sow. I mean, Disney it goes back to the whole go woke, go broke thing. Disney is losing money on movie after movie after movie, and it doesn't seem like they're learning from their mistakes. I mean, how many movies have they lost money on? I think it's like 9 in a row now. I know it's a lot of money. I can't remember the number, but I know they've lost a lot of money on the last few movies that have come out. They've just been tanking because they don't learn. They keep putting this woke stuff in these movies, and people don't want to watch that. They want a good story and they want to be entertained. They don't want to see that kind of crap in their movies, especially when you're showing it to little kids. You know. Anyway, whatever. Let's see. Mirror, mirror on the wall, how will Snow White perform? I don't think it's going to go very well. I don't. I think it's going to tank. I don't think that they're going to make up the 300 plus million that they've put into the movie. Now, I could be wrong. I don't think I am. I think it's going to tank. But we'll see. I mean, it's coming out in a few weeks, supposedly on the 21st. A couple weeks, maybe. Let's see. Calendar. Yeah, a couple more weeks. 2 weeks from today, actually. So we'll see. You never know. It could go good. I don't see it going good, but as I said, the last couple movies that they've made, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, I don't know how many. I want to say it was 9 in a row they've lost money on, but anyway, I could be wrong on that too. But I don't think it's gonna do well. Like as I said, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I mean, let's see. The teaser racked up over 1 million dislikes against 82,000 likes on YouTube in the first 3 weeks it was online. In the aftermath of D23, I don't know what that is. However, Disney's remake of The Little Mermaid also had over 1 million dislikes, but that didn't stop it from landing a 117.5 million Memorial Day opening at the box office. Now, how much did it cost them to make that movie, though? Let's see if we can find out real quick. Let me see. Let me bring this up. Let's see. We'll go to Google there. Let's see. How much did the new Little Mermaid cost to make? Let's see. Let's see. According to her post, the Little Mermaid movie had a production cost of around $250 million. Let's see, including marketing, could reach closer to 360 million. So, there you go. I mean, 117. I don't know what it did overall, but if they only made 117.5 million in the first weekend, they might have met that goal. I mean, it was what movies stay in the theaters like 3-4 weeks nowadays. So they could have made it up. I think they probably fell short, but that's just a guess. So, let's see. Disney has found some success remaking and creating live action adaptations of its fan favorite classic. The highest grossing remakes include Aladdin at 1.054 billion, Beauty and the Beast at 1.266 billion, The Lion King, which earned a record-shattering $1.663 billion to claw back its whopping budget. It remains to be seen whether Snow White will be able to dig. I like that pun. Its way out of the pit of controversy to a celebrated spot in the box office charts. I don't see it happening. I don't. Um, I did watch the remake of Aladdin. I thought it was okay. There was a lot of crap in there I didn't like, but the movie was okay. It was fine. Didn't watch Beauty and the Beast. Didn't watch Lion King remakes. I think the originals were great, and that's what I let my kids watch. I don't let them watch the new stuff. I don't. But that's just me. I think that Disney has gone woke, and I don't want my kids watching that stuff. So anyway, go ahead and move on to Hunter Biden now. This is interesting. Hunter Biden says that he doesn't have the money to fund his lawsuits anymore. So this is weird to me. Okay, why all the money and corruption and everything else that the Biden family has been accused of or supposedly a part of? How do you not have the money? Um, Maybe it has something to do with Doge. Perhaps I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know. It could be though. It could be. It could be the fact that Doge is weeding out all this corruption and wasteful spending. It could be that they're not getting the kickbacks that they're used to getting. I guess. I mean, it could be. I'm not saying that that's the case, but it's a good possibility. It's just my opinion though. Let's see. This from Libs of TikTok on X. Just in, Hunter Biden asks a judge to drop his laptop lawsuit, claiming he's millions in debt, worsened by the LA fires. In court filings, he blames dwindling art and book sales for his financial woes, saying his rented home became unavailable. The lawsuit targeted Trump aide Garrett Zegler for exposing his laptop data, but Hunter now says he can't afford to litigate. He's also tied up in another case over the laptop's leaked contents. Now he's out of cash. New York Post, according to New York Post. Now, this is he's talking. This is the lawsuit that he brought against the Trump aide that exposed his laptop pretty much. So he's asked the judge to drop the case. Now as far as I understand court and everything else, you can just drop the case. I mean, it happens a lot as far as I understand it. So I don't see a problem with that. But he's still got to deal with the other lawsuits that he's still tied up in. And I know everybody's gonna. Oh, he's got a pardon though. There's still the pardons only cover federal law. If he's got a state crime or a civil crime against him, that doesn't cover. It's only federal crimes that pardon covers. So he's still got to deal with the other stuff. Plus, even if it is a federal crime that they're investigating, investigate it anyway. I don't care if he's got a pardon or not. Investigate it. It's the same thing with everybody else that President Biden pardoned. I don't care if they have a pardon. Investigate it and let the information come out to the public. It sucks that they got a pardon because it's something that I've said 100 times before. I'll probably say it 100 times more. Until you hold somebody accountable for their actions, they're just going to keep doing it over and over and over and over again. Democratic Party is a prime example of it. So, this is interesting. I mean, I don't understand how he's out of money, but we'll take a look at this real quick. This is from the New York Post on the story about Hunter Biden. Let's see. Excuse me. Ex-Trump White House aide says he'll fight to block man-child Hunter Biden from dropping laptop suit. Abusive legal system. Now, as I said, I don't believe that there's anything saying that they can't drop this. I mean, like I said, as far as I understand it, you can have. I mean, people do it all the time. They drop a suit. It happens all the time. So as far as I understand it, you can drop a lawsuit. I don't think there's anything against. You brought the charges up. If you want to drop the charges, that's your prerogative. I don't. It's just strange to me that he's having to drop it because he's out of money. It's weird to me. I mean, anyway, former Trump White House aide being sued by Hunter Biden over leaks of his infamous laptop is refusing to let the financially challenged former first son drop the case, calling it abuse of the legal system. Again, I'll say it again. People drop cases all the time. I don't see a problem with it. If he wants to drop the case because he says he doesn't have any money, let him drop the case. He's still got to deal with the other cases that are against him. He can't have those dropped. So if he wants to drop this one, fine. I don't care. Maybe I don't know maybe the Trump aide wants it to continue to expose something else. I don't know. Maybe he just wants money. I have no idea. I don't know. Anyway, in an unusual move, Garrett Zegler says he's going to fight Biden's request to dismiss the lawsuit, accusing Zegler of illegally hacking and circulating the embarrassing contents of the political scion's notorious laptop. Biden on Wednesday asked a federal judge to voluntarily dismiss his 2023 lawsuit against Zegler, saying he's millions of dollars in debt, in part because no one's buying his artwork or memoir. Well, no kidding. Nobody cares. This is just another left-wing thing that they do. They get out of politics. They write a book. I don't know about the painting stuff. I mean, maybe he just sucks as an artist, but I think I read a couple times that a couple of his pieces sold, and I was like, whatever. I don't care. Anyway, Hunter wants to cry uncle. Zegler raged in a comment to the Post Thursday. We are opposing that. We want our attorney's fees to be paid for Hunter to cease lying about us and me and just generally shut the F up. Okay, excuse me. I guess I can see that. I mean, the guy's probably paid a butt ton of money in lawyer fees, and I can understand him wanting that financial, part of it back. I can understand that. So that I understand. But like I said, cases get dropped all the time, and most of the time you're just kind of SOL as far as that money that you've already paid into your lawyer. So, like I said, I don't know. Maybe just do a countersuit against him. That way he can't drop it. And for the recuperation of the money that you've already spent on lawyer fees and everything else. So I can understand that part of it, but just let him drop the lawsuit, do a countersuit against him for the to recoup some of that money that you spent on the lawyers and such. So that's how I think. I think that's a more logical way of going about it. Maybe instead of trying to fight the drop, just countersue. I don't know if I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know. I don't know how all that works, but that's just what pops into my head. So anyway, let's see. Is there anything else in here that's worth note? Order due fork over 17, almost 18,000. To Hunter, unsuccessful motive. Okay, I think that's it. Anyway, it's just weird. I don't think dropping a case is anything special. It happens a lot, and as I said, just countersue. That's what I think. Anyway, we'll move on to Gavin Newsom. He started his little podcast, and I give him credit. He started a long format podcast. I give him credit for it. I do. I don't like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I don't like the guy at all. I think he runs his state very, very, very poorly. And he had Charlie Kirk on, which was, again, I give him credit for because he's actually trying to have conversations with the opposing side. So I do give him credit where credit is due. He's actually having discussions with these people, but this is my personal opinion. I think he's trying to gauge because the right, the Democrats keep losing, and the right, the Republicans keep winning. And he's trying to figure out, I think he's trying to put it, he wants to run for president. He does. I think he wants to put in a bid in 28. And I think this is him trying to understand the other side, the opposition, to see what they're doing and why they're winning so much. That's just my opinion, but I think he's going to put in a bid in 28. I think he wants to run for president, and it's no secret that a lot of the left wants this guy as their next poster child. So it makes sense that he would try to, because he said he wants to bring on right-wing people and have discussions, which, like I said, I give him credit for. But I think he's just trying to find out what's going on the other side and how, I think he might try and take some tactics from them in order to win the presidency. He's gonna come off as more moderate, and he's gonna try to appeal to the middle of the road voters and try to get that vote. But I think he seriously wants to run for president in 28. That's why he's doing this. That's just my opinion. But let's get into this. This is from the Post Millennial. Great outlet, just by the way. Gavin Newsom admits to Charlie Kirk it's unfair for boys to play in girls' sports, but says they're at risk of suicide if banned. This is interesting that he actually sides with Charlie Kirk on this issue, but then he backpedals just a little bit, saying that if we don't let them play in sports, there's a chance of them committing something terrible to themselves. So we'll take a look at the clip real quick, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it.
So like you right now should come out and be like, you know what? The young man who's about to win the state championship in the long jump in female sports,
right.
that shouldn't happen. You as the governor should step out say no.
Yes.
No, and I appreciate
but like, would you do something like that? Would you say no men in female sports?
Well, I think it's an issue of fairness. I completely agree with you on that. So that's easy to call out, the unfairness of that. There's also a humility and a grace, that these poor people are more likely to commit suicide, have anxiety and depression. And the way that people talk down to vulnerable communities is an issue that I have a hard time with as well. So both things I can hold in my hand. How can we address this issue with the kind of decency that I think, is inherent in you, but not always expressed?
Okay, look, my opinion on this, and I'll give credit to, I'm pretty sure it was Tim Pool who said it, but it was a fantastic idea. And I agree with it. If men want to compete in women's sports claiming they're trans women, then let them compete with the men. Done. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I said this in a previous video, I'm going to reiterate it. The men who are competing in women's sports, this is my opinion, the majority of them can't make it on the men's team, so they claim to be trans, and then they go on to the women's team and they just completely dominate. Just as Charlie said right there, 8 feet for a long jump, 8 feet was the distance between the closest woman to that man. In that long jump event, 8 feet is the distance between him and the closest woman competitor. 8 feet. That's a big distance for a long jump. Huge. Okay, it's crazy to me. And then you had the volleyball player, Peyton, who was hit in the face by a male, spiking the ball, hit in the face with temporary partial paralysis and a little bit of brain damage. You got the basketball team, who lost 3 players to injury to a male player on the other team and ended up having to forfeit because they didn't have enough players to keep playing. This stuff has to stop. You cannot tell me that you're for women and then don't protect women in their own sports. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get it. I don't think that men shouldn't be in women's sports. Period. And if these men really want to play sports, let them play with the men. I don't care if they claim to be trans. If they want to play sports, they can play with the boys. They can play with the men. That's it. Done. Nope. Anyway, take about another clip here, and we'll get into this too. And y'all can tell me what you think. This is just, again, I think that this is him trying to play both sides. He's trying to get an insight as to how the Republicans are winning so much. And like I said, because he wants to run for president, and he knows that the issues that the left has right now, and I give him credit because he sees that the left is losing, and he needs to figure out what the right side is doing and how they're winning so much. So
why is it you were able to clean it up for Xi Jinping, but you can't clean it up?
Guys, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. By the way, you guys weaponized that. I saw that.
Okay, he's talking about this is when Xi Jinping came to visit in California, and he came specifically to San Francisco, and he cleaned up the streets. Like, it was clean. It was clean, clean, clean. Think about all the pictures. I mean, they poop in the streets in San Francisco. I'm not kidding you. They just literally drop trowel, poop in the street in San Francisco. There's homeless abound. There's tent cities everywhere. Xi Jinping comes to town. Gavin Newsom cleans up the city. Takes all the homeless out, cleans up the streets. It looked pretty. It was gorgeous, like San Francisco used to look like. And then, as soon as the Chinese delegates left, it went right back to where it is. Why? Why can't you keep it clean? You cleaned it up for a foreign power that came to visit, and then you just let it go back to what it was. Why? Make it make sense. And he's saying that the right weaponized it. No, we're just pointing out the facts. The fact that you were able to clean up the city because Xi Jinping was coming to visit, but then after he left, it went right back to the hellhole that it is now. So
25 things. It was the most ridiculous. That was you know what? I will happily revert back to your
Can I have the streets as clean as Xi Jinping?
In this case, weaponized.
Can I
weaponized.
Can I get the Xi Jinping
It was
streets
ridiculous.
back?
Give me a break.
No, but Governor, with all due respect, I saw a beautiful picture of San Francisco that looked like Singapore.
By the way,
and then Xi Jinping leaves, and the Walking Dead come back.
By the way, it was APAC. You had dozens and dozens of foreign leaders. And California is not San Francisco, but I am the governor of California, not the mayor of California, not the mayor of San Francisco.
You were the mayor, but I just want to understand, why is it that we...
This is him. I think this is him just pawning off responsibility. The fact that he's saying, well, I'm not the mayor of San Francisco. I'm the governor of California. San Francisco's in your state. Still part of your responsibilities. You can't pawn it off on the mayor. You're the governor. Anyway.
We have to clean it up.
20 years ago.
But you have to admit, it's emblematic of something that if enough important people show up, it can get clean. So why not make it clean all the time? Why is it you were able to clean it up for Xi Jinping, but you can't clean it up?
Guys, that was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. By the way, you guys
How look, okay, he makes a very valid point. You clean it up for Xi Jinping. Why can't you keep it clean? That's the whole point of it. Why not keep it clean? Anyway, and let's not forget that, he was at an event. I don't know. It was outside. I remember it. You can look it up. But he came out and he was asked about, did he clean up the streets just for Xi Jinping's visit? And he said, this is a quote. He said, well, that's true because it's true. I'm not kidding. That's exactly what he said. I remember it very, very specifically. But anyway, the guy he's looking out for himself. He's trying to figure out how the right is winning so much. And that's why that's why he's doing this podcast. And again, I don't know that for absolute fact, but that's what I believe. If he's genuinely doing this just to see the other side's perspective, I give him credit. And I give him credit regardless, just for having opposing viewpoints on his show and trying to talk it out. I give him credit for that. That's what we should do. Have opposing viewpoints, come on, talk about it. Try your best to keep a cool head and talk about things. Just discuss issues. Try to come to a common ground on things. I'm all for that. I think that's the best thing to do. But anyway, go ahead and move on to Al Green here. This was I'm kind of torn on this both ways, because on one hand, I do want to see repercussions for actions. I've said it a million times on here that until you hold somebody responsible for what they do, they're going to keep doing the same crap over and over and over and over. Democrats are a prime example of it. None of these people are held accountable, and just as a blanket statement, I don't agree with the right doing it either. The heckling during President Biden's State of the Union. Not a fan of it. I believe that he's there to give a speech in order to let the American people know what the plan is, what they've done thus far. You can agree with it or not agree with it, but that's the president's speech. Be respectful. Listen to it. You cannot cheer. You cannot clap. That's fine. But the heckling, because everybody's coming out. Oh well, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they did it to Biden. I didn't like it then. Excuse me. Just for full clarity, not a fan of it, and I think that maybe there should have been a censure against them. But as far as I understand it, in the clips that I've seen and everything else, Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene, once they were told to sit down, they sat down. And there was one, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe it was, that she was heckling him, called out something or other, and nobody said anything to her. But she didn't. I mean, she just stopped. So the difference between that and this is Al Green was told. He got a warning, and then was told 2 other times to sit down, take a seat, and he didn't do it. And then he was respectfully walked out of the chambers. I'm fine with it. But anyway, I'm going to say this too, okay? This goes for both sides, Republicans and Democrats alike. If they're doing something they're not supposed to be doing, there needs to be consequences to actions. Until that happens, they're going to keep doing whatever they want to do. I can't stress it enough, because the fact that, look, in the censure, fine. They censured him. But what does a censure do? It's what? It's called, like, it's like a public humiliation towards that person. Okay. That's not really, in my opinion, I don't see that is like it's not a disciplinary action, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You can think what you want, but I don't think that he should be expelled from Congress. I don't think that. I'm not about that. But just for this anyway. There's other things that would warrant that, but just for heckling and trying to say something that was completely false, by the way, about President Trump during his speech, I don't think he should be expelled from Congress for that. I don't. You can disagree with me if you want to, but that's just how I think. I don't think he should be expelled. But anyway, let's take a look at this. This is the censure of Al Green. So the Democrats broke out into song when he was called down to the little area there. So, but this is nuts to me.
This is a really sad day for our institution. What Representative Al Green did in the midst of the president's speech as our honored guest to the chamber was disrupted. He did it intentionally, as everyone saw. I gave him plenty of warnings, and he refused it. It was a deliberate action. It needed to be met with swift punishment. That's the tradition of this place, to maintain decorum. And so that's what we just did. The resolution passed on the House floor. There were 224 votes in favor of censuring him for that behavior. 198 Democrats voted against it. I can't believe that. 2 votes present. So I think we had 9 Democrats join us in this bipartisan measure that we took. 10. And it was critically important, Bill, because we have to maintain the dignity of this place. We're the greatest deliberative body in the history of the world. There's a deep and rich tradition here, and it is violated. To our understanding and our review of history, that was the first time that any member of Congress has ever had to be removed in the middle of a presidential address. And
I couldn't find anything. As far as I understand it, that was the first time that somebody had been removed during a presidential address, whether it was a joint session of Congress or the State of the Union. That is, as far as I could find. I couldn't find anything else. But, and like I said, a lot of people are coming out against Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert. They should have been removed too. That's my opinion. Either side, I don't care. Show respect for the speech that's being given. If you want to protest as far as like not clapping or standing, that's your prerogative. I don't think screaming at somebody during their speech, I don't think that does anything. But anyway, Al Green was completely, and you can see in the previous video I did, he was completely incorrect as far as what he was claiming, saying that he's cutting Medicaid and Medicare. That's not true. It's not true. I covered it in a former video, actually looking at the bill that got passed, that it did not cut Medicaid or Medicare. It didn't. He actually increased Medicare spending by a lot. So you can go look at that video. I can't remember which one it was. It was a few back. But anyway, if you want to check that out, you can. It's a few videos back. But take a look at Al Green. This is when he got censured. This is his little speech as far as why he did it, why he feels that it was necessary, yada, yada, yada. But we'll take a look at this real quick.
And I did it with intentionality. The president indicated that he had a mandate. I said to the president, you do not have a mandate to cut Medicaid.
That's a lie. He's
I
not
have
doing
constituents who need Medicaid.
Not cutting
They
Medicaid.
will suffer and some will die if they don't get Medicaid. I heard the speaker when he said that I should cease. I did not, and I did not with intentionality. It was not done out of a burst of emotion.
Yes, it was.
I was emotional about it, but I did it with intentionality.
Let me just pause it here, because look, his entire reasoning for doing this is based on a lie. Now, I don't know if he's just misinformed or if he's just going along with the lie, but there's nothing indicating that President Trump is cutting Medicaid. None. He has specifically said he's not going to cut it. And he is, as far as the bill that got passed, as I said before, nothing in the bill about Medicaid. Nothing. Nothing. Not a single. You can look through it. Medicaid is not mentioned once. Medicare is, but he actually increased the spending, as I said before. This is based on a lie. His entire premise for doing this action is based on a lie. But he wants his constituents to believe it as well as the American people. I'm not buying it, because I actually do look into things, and I know that he's full of crap. So let's see what else he has to say.
Think that on some questions of conscience, you have to be willing to suffer the consequences. And I have said I will. I will suffer whatever the consequences are, because I don't believe that in the richest country in the world, people should be without good health care. I stood up for my constituents then. I'm standing up for my constituents now. I am grateful to Mr. McGovern for what he has said. I'm grateful to those who have been standing with me. But I will tell you, I appreciate you. No anger. The officers who escorted me out, they were kind to me.
Well, that's good.
I don't blame the speaker for anything. Friends,
You shouldn't.
I would do it again. I have to be candid with you. I'm not trying to in some way insult you. This
Yes,
is a
you are.
matter of principle. This is a
Look right there. He said he would do it again. It just proves my point. Until there are actual consequences for these people's actions, it could be. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you could do as far as a punishment for the guy. Maybe fine him some money. I mean, for these people I don't know what his net worth is, but if it's anything like the rest of the Democrats in Congress, he's probably worth quite a bit of money. So fine him some money, fine him, $5,000, $10. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't think expulsion from the Congress is the right course of action for this, because like I said, it was just heckling. Based off of falsehoods. Still, I don't think expulsion from the Congress is I don't think that's justified, but maybe give him a fine. Tell him not to do it again. If he does it again, fine's bigger. After that, we can see. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not in Congress. I'm not a senator. I'm not a congressman. I'm not a representative. I just complain to a camera on the internet. But in my opinion, until you hold them accountable, they're just going to keep doing it over and over again. And a censure is not holding them accountable. That's just, look, they give him a chance to justify why he did it, blah blah blah, and that's it. It's supposed to be a humiliation for the congressman. I don't think it accomplished it because he just outright told you that he would do it again. So what do you do? I don't know. Like I said, maybe a fine. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not in Congress. I don't know how all this works exactly. I'm not. But I think there should be some sort of consequence, maybe for him to think about, well, maybe I shouldn't do that again. Anyway, see what else he has to say here in the last few seconds.
Matter of conscience. There are people suffering in this country because they don't have health care.
That may be true, yeah. I mean,
I'll close with this. On some issues that are matters of conscience, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. This is where I stand.
Okay, well, I guess I can give him some credit for still sticking by it. I give him a little bit of credit for that. But like I said, I mean, it just comes back to, unless you start holding these people accountable, they're not going to change. They're not going to think twice about doing whatever they want to do because they know that there's no repercussions for their actions. That's all there is to it. And I'll just say it one more time. I don't know what the course of action as far as discipline would be for this type of action. I definitely don't agree with, expelling them from Congress. But something has to, so there has to be some kind of consequence. Like I said, maybe a light one at first, does it again, make it more severe, so yada yada yada. I mean, there has to be some sort of consequence for their actions. Until there is, they're just going to keep doing whatever they want to do. That's it. Anyway, I took a look at this. This is I'm pretty sure this is the other heckling that was taking place. And like I said, I don't agree with either side. Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter to me. Independent, Green Party, don't care. Don't care. I don't agree with the heckling, and I think there should be consequences for either side. Just how I think about it. But take a look at this. This is this is I can't remember if this was Lauren Boebert or if this is Marjorie Taylor Greene, but this is just some. I wanted to put this in here because this is the other side, and like I said, I don't agree with it when either side does it, and there needs to be consequences whether they're Democrat or Republican.
All Americans deserve the freedom to be safe.
Oh, okay, I remember this. This is because a lot of people are out here saying, look, when the Republicans did this, there was no consequences for them doing this. Okay, and again, I'll stress the fact that when Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert did this, they did it for a quick minute, for a quick clip, and then that was it. I didn't see them get warned per se, but they didn't continue on like Greene did. Greene was not sitting down. He was standing, shaking his cane at President Trump. He planned on getting thrown out. He did. That's it. He planned on getting thrown out of there. That was his plan. So he could go have his 5 minutes of fame on talking to the press just outside of the, outside of Congress. That's it. That's how I think. I think he meant to get thrown out. He totally planned it. And then he went and talked to the press. And I showed you that yesterday. But anyway, this guy was actually arrested. Okay. This is a father of one of the 13 service members that died during the Abbey bombing, during President Biden's terrible, horrific withdrawal from Afghanistan. I don't agree with this guy getting arrested, getting, taken out of the chambers, sure. But this guy, I understand his frustration. He lost his son because of President Biden's horrific withdrawal from Afghanistan. It was botched. It was terrible. And Kamala should be ashamed about this because she says she was the last person in the room when they decided on this. She should be ashamed. I don't agree with this guy he's upset, and rightfully so. He lost his son because of incompetence from the left when they were in power. But here we go.
And America is safer today than when I took office. Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up. The biggest increase in history. It was then through my
He was already on his way out. So
all of
this guy was already on his way out, and he was there to tell President Biden about his horrible withdrawal and the fact that he lost his son. I mean, like I said, I don't agree with him being arrested. I don't. He was already on his way out. He screamed what he wanted to scream, and he was already walking his way out when they came up to take him out of the chambers. I don't agree with him being arrested, but this is just one of the things that I wanted to point out because of the fact that a lot of people on X and the left are saying, "Oh well, there's never any consequences for the right when they do it." Well, this is just like I said, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they did it, but they did it for a quick minute and then shut up, and then let President Biden go on with his business. That for one thing, and like I'll stress it again, I don't agree it when either side does it. I don't. You can protest in other ways. You cannot clap. You cannot stand and applaud. Blah 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 blah. This guy though, rightfully so, is upset. He lost his son in a botched withdrawal from Afghanistan, and I'm surprised that more of the parents weren't there in support of this guy. Him being arrested, I don't think that's not cool. This guy was arrested. So you can't tell me there's not any consequences. That's more of a consequence than what Al Green got. All they did was censure him. So you can't tell me that there's not consequences when the other side does it. It's just not true. Anyway, and I'll stress just one more time that everything that Al Green was supposedly screaming about was falsehoods. There was no truth in it. There's no evidence as far as President Trump cutting Medicaid. None. At least none that I could find. But anyway, that's all I got for now. Appreciate you hanging out with me this morning. If you like what you saw, you stayed this long through all my ramblings, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. Don't know why you would be on YouTube, but go over to Rumble. Follow me on Rumble. It's Political Ray on Rumble and YouTube, but go to Rumble. And you can also follow me on X at The Political Ray. And appreciate you again for hanging out with me this morning. Hope y'all have a good day and God bless.